Alrighty, guys, what's up? Um, today we are gonna do a quick little recap of my day, and then also, we're just gonna quickly converse about the emotions and psychology behind trading. And as y'all can probably see, is a little cool little camera today, so that'll be fun. But let's quickly get into the stream, and let's get right into today's recap, right? Few things out of the this morning I started watching was I was watching my natural gas, right? Natural gas is a something I like to focus on a little bit more nowadays since it is for myself a little bit more consistent returns. I traded natural gas today, and I used NJK20. Is it K20? I think it was K20. Yeah, the May futures. Yeah. So NJK20, NGK20, sorry. I used this to chart off my day, and sorry, let me just send this link around. There we go. Yeah, so today I just traded natural gas to basically get a little movement on the game. So I had my eyes on natural gas in the morning. Pre-market it was trending up, so I felt like it'd be a UGAS day. Pre-market is trending up. Then we had this little large drop here, continued to trend up. Then really held around this 1.74475 level, and it was really interesting. It was just holding. It wasn't making any higher highs, just consolidating in that area. Then we broke down and tested VWAP. Held the VWAP very strongly. And then we pushed back up, and I was just watching it the whole time in the back today. Pushed back up, came up around here, consolidated again, right? And I'll get more into the trade what I did for natural gas there. But this whole time while I was watching natural gas in the back, um, I had my eyes on SPY this today all day, right? This was one of my more less informed trades that made, I guess, right? I wasn't very prepared as to why the market was pushing up so much today. I talked to a couple of friends, and we were all basically confused because there's no news out there, so we were just assuming the markets were getting pumped for the heck of it, right? Just because I sort of think of it as when you have so many red days in a row, I feel like you need some sort of good green day in the middle. Tomorrow, I assume there's no going to be another red day, right? So I assume like you need like a breather day. It can't continue red for so much time, right? It needs a breather in the middle. So that's what I accepted today as. So I woke up, looked at SPY trending up pre-market, pulled back, trending up, and as the bell rang, it sort of opened, pushed up, sold, went to a higher high, and then sold off. Tested VWAP area again, right? And it continued to trend up for a little bit longer. And just around this time, right around here, I thought it was flattening out, ready to basically dump shares, right? So I got into SPXS right around somewhere there. And for, let's see, style, show trades. So yeah, right around there, I got in with 100 shares at 21.90, and it continued to consolidate there, and which was fine with me because on the SPY it looked like it was gonna um, basically sell right off. So I was okay with 100 shares there. Um, and it sold off a little bit, which was good signs, right? And it consolidated, and then SPY started to push back. And so you see right here where it tested VWAP, right? Well, let's go back to the SPY chart. So when I had my 100 shares at 21.90, I got in a little high, and I should have waited, or should have gotten a little bit lower on the price, which I could have, but I got in a little high. Um, it broke down, which was good. So this breakdown basically pulled it into a flag pattern, and the flag, I knew one more time it'd break down and test VWAP. And I told myself, basically at this time, I told myself I'll sell off at VWAP once it tests it. It did test it. I was up nearly like what, 40, $50, and I sort of just didn't feel like the profits were enough. Simple as that. I didn't feel like the profits were enough, so I ended up holding it. And then SPY started basically rally up all the way, kept rallying up. He was just using this moving average as a support. Pushed up, came back to support, pushed up, came back to support, pushed up, and this is where I felt like it was getting way too overextended. And somewhere along this time, I'm not sure exactly when, I added a couple more, 50 more shares of SPXS. Right here at 21.30, right? Added 50 more shares to change my average to, what was it, 21.7. Averaged still a little bit high, right? At this point, I was just trying to break even on the trade. As simple as that. I should have cut losses earlier, but I didn't, and I was just trying to break even on the trade. I knew it was getting overextended. Without any news, there shall be a sell-off come soon, right? So as we expected a sell-off to happen, right? Sell-off happened, tested VWAP, and tested it, right? Pulled up, uh, tested it, and then once this one made a higher high off of these candles, I was like, I don't want to risk it to rally back up. And on this candle, I sold out, and I lost, like, what was it, SPXS on the day? I lost $24 on that, and I was sort of getting frustrated on this trade. And obviously, after I sold it, consolidated for a little bit longer, tested the moving average on SPY, and continued to sell off, right? Continued to sell off. And as it was selling off, I was getting further in the green, but I was already out of position at that time. So that was my trade on SPY. Sort of took it early. I should have sold that at VWAP. I wanted to follow a plan basically, and I didn't follow my own plan. DGAS today. So let's go back to natural gas. Let me show you natural gas first. So natural gas at K20, right? Um, so we're talking about this pattern here where I was watching throughout this whole time. It consolidated, sold off, got to VWAP, and I was like, all right, it's testing it. If it breaks, I might hop in a position, a really large position of DGAS right away. But which is good. I didn't do that. It's smart. So I waited because I saw it as a support, right? It started supporting there, and I was like, okay, that's fine. If anything, I'll get into a UGAS position later. But I did want to see it get over these levels first. So pushed up again, consolidated at the previous resistance in that general area, wasn't creating any higher highs or lower lows. And I sort of got in somewhere in this area on DGAS where it was just chilling for a little bit. So I sort of got in this area, and I waited, and I saw a sell-off coming. Or I didn't see it coming, but I felt like there was a lot of sell-off because we had a dip right here of a bearish candle, and then it came back, consolidated, which showed me there was buying strength. So I was being very careful on this stock because I was 30 shares deep in on DGAS, and every dollar DGAS moved, I was either up or down $30. So I bought 20 shares at 294, averaged down to 293, I believe, with 10 more shares at 291. Um, and then once again, as natural gas sold off, DGAS pushed up, and I just wanted to flat out be at 300, lock in my profits at 300. That's why my limit was sold there, set there. I could have instantly made another $60, but I just wanted to lock in my profits at 300. So that's why I had my limit placed at 300. Yeah, the sell off lasted a little bit for natural gas. Where is it? Natural gas, K20, sell off. Oh, my bad. I zoomed in a little too much. Yeah, so after this sell off, it sold off, consolidated, pushed up, tested VWAP, sold off further, and then UGAS picked up, or natural gas picked up its buying after that. So that was pretty much it for today of my trading recap. And another thing I wanted to go over, I was talking with my friends, and they're starting to get into trading now, and some of them have been in it. And I just wanted to basically remind you of my tough times that I still go through, and something that I've tried to learn as a trader to get by every single day is how to control your emotions, right? That's I know some of y'all haven't seen that part yet, but once it comes, it'll come like a train, basically. Um, there's two factors to it, right? There's your greed side. Once you're making money, you want to make more money, and you're the opposite side. When you're losing money, you want to hold on to your position until it goes back up. Um, and those both can be very, very dangerous, right? More of the losing side than the greed side. So a lot of the times you get into these trades, right? In this emotional factor, I fully believe uh, falls more on day traders than any sort of swing traders or long-term investors, just because those are more calculated. But day trading is calculated as well. But the thing is that you have so much money on the line that you want to quickly make your decisions, make smart decisions really fast. And so, one thing I want y'all to think about before taking every trade is, do you have a plan for that trade, right? Do you have an exit strategy? Do you have an entry strategy? Do you have a stop loss strategy for each plan, right? So what I mean is, when you enter a position and it doesn't go your way, what are you gonna do with that position? Are you gonna hold it until it goes back up? What if it continues to go down for the rest of the day? What if it continues to go down and you're forced to hold that position to the next day? Or do you cut losses earlier, right? That's a big part into trading is a lot of people are scared to cut losses because you're either on a margin account where you're going to be out of your day trade by the end of if you cut loss, or on the cash account you'll use up that buying power if you cut your loss. And those are restrictions that are really hard to get past, especially working with this mindset of cutting losses and your greed factor and your emotional factor. But those are really important steps. So you want to focus on a goal. You want to create a goal for yourself that you see and you can basically perform every single day. Um, my personal goal is half 0.5% of my whole account every day, and that turns out um, in most parts I'm able to hit it, no problem. But when I don't hit it, it's the days I'm going negative, right? That's the days when I'm losing money. And one thing that hurts a lot is when you're losing money, you want to take another trade to bring yourself out of that ditch. You want to take another trade to bring yourself out of that ditch. But what you're not taking in account is the emotional factor of you getting greedy and trying to steal money back from the market is not always going to work out in your favor, right? Because you have so much emotion in taking a trade. You're just taking positions, taking positions, taking positions. But are you really thinking if that's a good quality setup to get into that trade, right? You're not thinking about that clearly. So a lot of times you have to sort of call it a loss on the day, go home that night, review what you've made, review the decisions you made, review the trade you got into. Was it a smart trade? Was it fair, right? And then the next day, wake up and turn back around with a fresh head and get into it. So it's really important you have a plan, you have a goal in mind, and you stick to that, right? I know a lot of the times if you don't have a plan to stop yourself, or you don't have a plan to um, cash out in the end of the day, is you'll end up in the red, right? And sometimes you'll end up in the red deep, and having an account like that is really scary, right? Because today my fortunately my DGAS position of a profit of $210 um, held me up through my SPXS, right? I was basically down $3 at max when I was holding both positions, and when my DGAS was already sold and my SPXS was still in my hand. So at that point, personally, my P&L on the day was really getting to me, right? I was like, look, I've made so much money on DGAS, SPXS. If it goes any further, I'm gonna have to look to cut losses. That is because overall on the day I'm looking at my P&L, which is not always smart to do. But if I looked at SPXS in specific, that trade, I should not have been in that trade that long. And it's basically a learning strategy, right? By no means I'm a professional. I've been doing this just for a year, right? And this first year, I really just taken a learn the market, and nothing comes easy in the market. Um, is nothing worth having comes easy, right? So um, I sort of just want to feel out the market. I'm still testing it out, and I hope to be profitable soon, right? I still am not, right? I'm basically considering all of this as, if you want to become an engineer, right? Do you become an engineer in a year? If you want to become a doctor, do you become a doctor in a year? No. It's the same thing with trading. It's a profession, right? Um, you can even call it a hobby if you want, but it takes time to learn. Um, it's a little bit more different from long-term investing, where you might meet up with the financial advisor. You get your money, you put in a portfolio, they handle it for you. But if you're trying to do what a lot of people trying to day trade and stuff, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of understanding the market and different markets you're thrown into, right? We had a very bullish market earlier this year, where you could put your money in a lot of stocks, and the next day they'll be up 1% or two, right? Or even you can see momentum being carried through these stocks all the way throughout the day. But now we're in such a bear market that the profits are being so if a stock pushes up, you people are taking profits real quick. There's a lot of more false breakouts, um, false alerts basically, that are triggering you to buy in, but you're not supposed to in this sort of market. So you have to adapt to the market as well. The main thing I want y'all to keep in mind is keep a goal of your either a percentage of your account or a monetary value, excuse me, a monetary value of your account. And for me, it's a percentage, right? If you continue to build that percentage, let's say you have $1,000 account, right? $1,000 account, 1% is $10. That's nothing. $10 is nothing, right? You might feel like you spent so much time on investing that $1,000 and you're only making $10, right? But look at it in terms like this, right? If you make 1% every single day, or if you make 0.5% every single day, put in an Excel sheet and compound your gains and see what you come out to, right? It's the long term that'll benefit you, and you won't make a thousand. If you invest $1,000 today, you're not going to make $1,000 tomorrow. You're not going to make $1,000 the same day. You're not making $1,000 that week, unless you're doing very, very aggressive moves, which can lead to the other way too. It can put you up 1,000, but it can drain your whole account as well. So the whole goal is to keep a realistic goal in mind that you can hit every day, and you want to try to hit that as much as you can. The long term, you'll automatically see your account grow more, and that's something I want y'all to keep in mind, is locking in profits today, right now, right? Will make you will only It's better than taking a red on the day, right? Locking in profits early is better than taking a red on the day. You may lock in profits, and then you see the stock go up another like $10, for example, right? That's okay. That's okay. You're learning right now. You're learning how to trade, right? You're seeing opportunities. If that stock does go up $10, that's fine. Let it go to the moon. Let it go up 1,000%, 100%. You're learning. If anything, you can get back in that stock. But what you can't do is, if that stock hit the peak and you didn't sell out there and it starts going red, you're not getting that money back, right? So once you step out of a trade and you've already locked in your profits, sure, continue to watch the stock. Maybe find another opportunity within that stock. Once it pulls back, get back in. But what you want to keep in mind is, you want to keep thinking about the next step, the next step. Where's your next opportunity in the market? Where are you going to go next? What's your next move? You don't want to sit there and um, hold that thought of, dang, I should have held on to this position. And I'm not throwing shade at anyone, right? I've done the same thing so many times. And you just grow from that, basically. You grow forward past that mindset. But the thing is, the main thing is you want to keep a goal in mind. You want to keep a strategy with every trade you take, and you want to, going forward, keep a goal of every single day and how you can grow yourself as a trader and grow your account too. And that being said, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. It was more of a lecture than a sort of technical analysis video, but it becomes very important in the end. I might not have done the best job explaining it. There's a lot of other people on YouTube that probably explain this certain thing if better, if not better, right? Yeah, in general. So, um, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, right? I'll try to get back to you next video. I know I'm doing this right now because it's really quick. I could just hop on a stream, answer questions really fast. But if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to them on the next stream. All right, thank you guys. Stay green.